from the start, I wanted to create my own brand. Now, currently, we have the biggest trampoline park in Tamil Nadu. In the Madras Coffee House, they tend to do more business than what the actual restaurant does. So, food, sometimes it's like, எப்பவுமே சொல்லுவேன் நான் இது Operation Success Patient Admission. 2020 ஆரம்பிச்சோம். That's when we started. We were tying up with the mall. February ஆரம்பிச்சோம், Marchல I think we had the lockdown. And then almost 1.5 crores worth value shipment was coming from China. கரெக்டாக அங்கே இது பண்ணோடனே தான் கோவிட் ஹிட். 2 crores லாஸா இல்லாட்டி அப்படியே விடணுமா இல்லாட்டி இன்னும் இப்போ பம்பின் பண்ணி கண்டினியூ பண்ணணுமா?
Vanakkam, welcome to UrbanTalks. It's another interesting session that we have with Prashanth, who is the founder of DUGOUT SPORTS Terminal. Prashanth is a second generation businessman. Initially he was into a granite business, and then he is a continuous foodie and who develops food brands, which is very interesting. Today, let us hear Prashanth's story of brand building, his impact in real estate, and his continuous way of building the brand and making it a profitable business. Welcome, Prashanth.
Thanks, Mayil. Thanks for having me over.
So, brand building is the main concept that we continuously talk about. தொடர்ந்து branding பற்றி நாங்கள் பேசிகிட்டே இருப்போம். So, every brand creation story is really nice. So, எப்படி ஒரு brand ஒரு entrepreneur மைண்ட் செட்டில் பெர்சீவ் ஆகுது, அதை வந்து தொடர்ந்து ஒரு integrated process மூலிமா எப்படி அவங்க brand build பண்ணுறாங்க. They develop into a bigger brand. What is brand to you and what is your journey with brand as such?
So I'll just give a brief about so we as a family are in joint family business. So we have been in business for almost 25 years now. So Singapore onna da padichom. So 2008 I got back from Singapore. So after coming back, I was with my dad and my uncle. They are the main business people in our family. So I was along with them. Then அதுக்கப்புறம் நானே ஏதாவது பண்ணலான்ட்டு, so that's where I started my first brand. It's called as QVs. So it was basically short eats. In Singapore, there is this concept of lot of kiosks, lot of small eatery joints do really well. There's a big chain called Old Changi. So I wanted to come up with something similar to it, and from the start I wasn't too keen on starting a franchise, taking a franchisee and starting or anything. I wanted to create my own brand. So angada we started off with QVs.
Singapore is known for street food, illaya?
Yeah, street food, and lot of these small chains are there. And the culture over there is you go, you walk on the streets, you pick up food and go.
Not something, I mean, it's very similar to Chennai and its surrounding food joints.
Yeah, very.
So you saw a similarity
and onto this. But there were few glitches with it, so I'll get to it. So that's why I came up with QVs. At one point we had almost 13 kiosks in and around Chennai.
What is the time frame for this 13 joints that you created?
Within a span of 2 years, we started, and it was doing relatively well. I focused a lot in the brand development, the branding, ellame. One of the nice compliments I had were most of the people who saw it, they asked me where this franchisee was taken from. So looking at the branding and all, it looked like that's something I can take credit of.
Good. That, to understand brand as such, brand logo, naming, visibility is very, very important.
Yeah, true. So we spent almost, before launching food trials ஒரு பக்கம் போயிட்டு இருந்தா 4 months we spent on this with the branding and the thing.
So after squeeze, it's
squeeze ஆரம்பிச்சு. That's where I went wrong. I was the single person who was running the entire show at that point.
Okay.
So that's a good lesson learned. You can't do everything by yourself.
Every entrepreneur should definitely understand that everything cannot be done by himself, but he has to learn about everything.
Yeah, true. That MBA வந்து நம்ம போய் காசு கொடுத்து வச்சோம். இது வந்து different way. இதுவும் காசு கொடுத்து at our expense we learn. This is practical.
Post graduation.
Yeah,
double MBA. Okay, nice.
So the thing is, again, coming to real estate, that's where this show is about as well, I think. So we had it outside. It was a kiosk. in the Nilgiris and a lot of stores, we had our stall over there.
So your main eyefall and footfall is supposed to be, or it was the walk-in space of all the supermarkets?
Yeah, walk-in space of the supermarkets next to a school or anything.
Okay.
The good part in this is you don't have any deposit to pay. You can start off immediately. You don't necessarily or agreement la podra mare nariya rules varadu. But the bad part is eventually where I lost out is they can send you out at any point in time.
Okay.
Avanga parking space is any pressure. So even if the landlord says you can't sublet or something, so idu mari over 5-6 we had to close it down.
Okay.
Okay, so after that, after a point, it didn't make sense for me because I had a central kitchen where there are a lot more employees. So to run 4-5 outlets with this didn't make sense to me. That's why we had to shut shop at some point.
So I think real estate played a very important role in your first business.
Yeah.
Because you did not have proper control of that documentation with that real estate.
Yeah.
So it was, we are only at the fancy of that supermarket or that.
We are dependent on them.
We are dependent on them. So once you bring in more business to your shop, they are insecure about their space.
True, correct.
People who come into the supermarket.
A lot of you, I don't want to name as such, but I've seen a lot of big restaurants outside which there's a small, in the Madras Coffee House, they tend to do more business than what the actual restaurant does. So, andaluku panla, but we were getting there. At some point, we had to close.
This is a part of learning that we take away from that business.
Yeah.
And after that, you moved on to?
Yeah, so basically, there is two interests for me. Basically, I'm a foodie, so food is, and the other thing that overall is sports. So, inga pannida, then I have one more restaurant called as Madhouse. It was started with Madhouse in the sense it's meat and dine abbreviated into Madhouse. It's a 120-seater vegetarian restaurant in Mayilvaganan Road. It's still going on. We started in 2017 December. So it's almost 5 years and we have managed to survive the pandemic and it's going on as of now.
Good. Your interest in food always carries a brand along with it.
Yeah.
Okay. So you have made that to be in food business and understand how it operates, or it's like, the food it's a necessity and it's a cash flow business. Definitely I should be there.
Food is a very competitive business, restaurant business, and you need to really put in a lot of effort and your time over there. So this thing, Madhouse, it's been, as I told you, it's been 5 years and we have somehow managed to survive. That's how I can put it. Okay. So food, sometimes it's like, the operation success, patient dead. Business, if you look at it, it's I think it lies in when you expand and keep growing. That's where the
scale assumption.
Adukapram sports we wanted to open this. Now it's trending. A lot of people have started in 2018. You should be aware of it as well. So we started with indoor cricket and indoor football.
Okay.
So now again, this where we wanted to focus on is we wanted to focus on places where there's no revenue generated for the landlord, like mall rooftops and any other place rooftop or something, wherein that's space that's not utilized. Space. Yeah, so that's where we tried to focus on, and the first one was we set it up in Grand Mall, Velacherila. So we had an indoor cricket, and that was one of the first it was the first thing. We had 2 turfs. Until then, there is just 1 turf. That was the first thing. Inside one facility itself, we had 2 turfs. One specifically for cricket and one for football. Again, that was started in 2018 October. So it's been 4 years and it's doing well. It's called as DUGOUT. That's where the brand DUGOUT.
The idea of utilizing a space which was not utilized in most of the common areas or even in malls, you took that idea and brought a business proportion to it. So this is something which I called as smart real estate. So real estate is something how you perceive it to be.
Yeah.
So basically people are there, they are building apartments and they are building plots and they are building different commercial complexes. But there are spaces which can be brought into business aspect also. A smart entrepreneur always thinks how and difficulty or a problem can be converted into opportunity. He has taken a problem and then converted into an opportunity, and that is the birth of Dugout Sports Terminal.
And in a way, we minimize our risk as well, because these spaces we can get it at a throwaway price. உள்ள போய் இல்லை ஓப்பன் ஸ்பேஸில் ஸ்டார்ட் பண்ணுறது ரொம்ப கஷ்டம். The rentals are much higher. So
any business, I just want to intervene. Any business, your main killer is the rentals. And one more thing that is smart about this business model is you are sharing your risk of rental with the landowners. So that is integrated into your revenue model.
Yeah, true.
So your risk is minimized. The space which you have not utilized it's a dead space, you are bringing a business into it. And on top of that, your risk is minimized by sharing the rental with the revenue.
Yeah.
So that is one more interesting thing that you have actually done.
And also we have, like in a mall, we have people coming in, so it complements the other businesses also. They tend to go to the food court and spend over there. So, and one more thing I've seen is a lot of people have started building apartments or something with future plan for the terrace, which wasn't utilized previously. Now people are looking at ways to bring in revenue out of that.
See, there will be some important events. ஏதாவது ஒரு இன்ஸ்டன்ஸ் நடந்திருக்கும். இந்த இன்ஸ்டன்ட்னால தான் நான் இந்த பிஸ்னஸ் பண்ணணும்னு நான் நினைக்கிறேன் அப்படின்ற மாதிரி உங்களுக்கு தோணியிருக்கும். இல்லாட்டினா இது நடந்ததுனால தான் நான் இதை பண்ணேன், இல்லாட்டா நான் பண்ணியிருக்க மாட்டேன் அப்படின்ற மாதிரி நினைக்கிறேன். ஸோ மூவிங் ஃப்ரம் பிஸ்னஸஸ், your food and the sports idea. So what was that instance? What was that event which triggered you for this business?
So as I told you, my dad and uncle have been a big influence on me. Okay. So they have been entrepreneurs and I've seen them work and things. So one of the things that they taught me is, you power business polana, don't have emotional attachment. It's fine to have, but don't keep cunning. At some point you need to realize this is not working for you, and other vittu vandan
you have to let go.
Yeah, let go. And so Skewies, after 3 years, I felt that it was taking me nowhere. I was spending a lot of time over there, but revenue-wise, I wasn't getting one. So it took actually that helped me. Them saying that helped me in just exiting it. Ellathiyum vittittu. Once you do that, the ideas will definitely come up at some idea. You need to stick on to that and pursue that. But when you see it's not working at some point, you need to move on.
So
that's why I left the food thing, and not left one. The restaurant was going, and I saw potential this, and I jumped into this.
So the major event is your discussion with your uncle and father.
Yeah.
That they advised you to let go and move ahead.
Yeah, true.
that is the line that you should. So you keep mentioning everybody needs a support system. இப்போ ஆண்டர்பிரனராக இருக்க போத ஒரு முக்கியமான சப்போர்ட் சிஸ்டம் நம்மளுக்கு தேவை. அந்த சப்போர்ட் சிஸ்டம்ன போத some people have family, some people have mentors in their life.
Yeah.
So who was your mentor, or whom do you consider your mentor for business?
Again, I would go back again to my dad, because they have been together and working. We are into exports, not just granite. We used to do a lot of every possible product, lot of products we have exported, and now we have streamlined to granite export. We do monuments and so on. So 2-3 principles that have stuck on to me. One is when you keep working and going on, one thing that's very important is you need to analyze yourself every week as in where you're standing. Yana, the expense, at the end of the day, ellame, it's better to know. I note it down in an Excel or in whatever way it's convenient for you. What's the inflow, outflow, paathukiradhu better. So, Yana, at some point, neenga pannite you don't know where you stand at all. I did that mistake, and later I think I have corrected myself to an extent now. Better.
You're understanding your mentor's behavior, since it is also your family. நீங்கள் அவங்கள பார்த்து இதில் ஒன்று இன்ஸ்பயர் பண்ணிகிட்டே இருந்திருப்பீங்க. ஸோ அந்த மாதிரி உங்கள் சித்தப்பா கிட்ட நீங்கள் இன்ஸ்பயர் ஆனது என்னது?
Inspire the way we maintain relationships. That's very important. More than anything, that's the go-to in business and so on. Because even in this, now I have 3 partners with me. I started it. So எதுனால இன்வெஸ்ட் பண்ணுறாங்க, the name that you have created for yourself. And இன்னொன்று விஷயம் என்ன, எப்போவுமே மார்னிங் எழுந்தோடனே ஒன்று யோசிக்கணும்னுவாங்க, whom you have to pay what. Clear that and later start your day.
Exactly. So all your debt should be thought in the morning.
Yeah. so that you can go at peace. At the end of the day, you need to be peaceful with what you're doing. And even the risk, we haven't been too நிறைய risk எடுக்க the calculated risk because ஒன் பண்ணோன்னா அது மேனேஜ் பண்ண முடியுமான்னு பார்க்கணும் நம்ம. at the end of the day, if this is going to really get you very down from whatever you are, if you can manage the risk, venture into it. But if you think the risk is above what you can manage, we generally don't get into that.
That's very important advice from generation to a generation. The most fabulous thing about India or South India is that families teach business. I think everywhere else in the world only business institutions teach business to families. So India is that way gifted, and South Indians are gifted even more because we try to teach values of business in the family. So that is one thing which you have
this
inherited.
Might not always work, but with me I'm at peace doing this way with my thing. So for me, more than anything, I need to be at peace. So that's...
No, definitely it is. Being at peace works with everybody. It's not only with you, because only when the family is happy, the state becomes happy and the nation becomes happy. So only when you are peace inside, then obviously you can look at business. இப்போ நம்ம சந்தோஷமா இல்லாம நம்ம கூட இருக்கிறவங்களை எப்படி சந்தோஷப்படுத்த முடியும், நம்ம பிசினஸ் எப்படி சந்தோஷப்படுத்த முடியும். That is one thing. So the next important things which we want to move ahead and talk is businessல வந்து process ரொம்ப important. Process இல்லாம business வந்து கண்டினியூஸா நடக்காது. ஏன்னா நீங்க பண்ற பிசினஸ் வந்து எல்லாமே ஆட்டோ பைலட் தான் என்ன கன்சிடர் பண்ண முடியும். நீ ஐடியாவை கான்செப்ஷுவலைஸ் பண்ணுவீங்க, இம்ப்ளிமெண்ட் பண்ணுவீங்க, பட் யூ ஹேவ் செட் இன் a team and process to create that.
That's very important because that was something I learned initially. This Q is la kattu kotta visham. So you need to have process and delegate work properly. Adu pannada you have scope to expand, or even you can implement your ideas in future. It gets monotonous after a stage. So when you have work delegated and thing, it gives scope for you to think how to expand it and so that I feel that's very important, to delegate work properly and plan it out.
Mostly people come in for experience. And that experience is limited an amount of hours, and you encash that. So what was the process that you put into this thought?
So in the cricket football itself, it became again lot of people have started coming up with it. So again I thought, what next? That's where in 2020 we had planned a trampoline park. Now currently we have the biggest trampoline park in Tamil Nadu. It's in Marina Mall. We have set it up. It's almost 25 to 30,000 square feet of space. It's basically a trampoline park and an entertainment zone. You have football, cricket, as well as trampoline over there. Trampoline, it's not just trampoline for kids, or you have team activities as well. So I wanted it to make it engaging for... So people come in, we have people of all ages coming, from 4 years till 70 years, we have people walking in over there. And surprisingly, we have more crowd from in their teens and elderly crowd. Even the IT going people, all those people come over there, and that's where...
You have to look out for a process that is set in the business. And it's every now and then நம்மளோட intervention on the businessல இருக்கணும். And the time that you told, 2020 is almost COVID days. So you need to set up that business, and that business is taking time. And அது வந்து ஒரு மென்டல் பிளாக் தான். ஒரு ஃபவுண்டரோட கிளாரிட்டி இல்லாம இதெல்லாம் பண்ண முடியாது.
2020 ஆரம்பிச்சோம். That's when we started. We were tying up with the mall. That's when COVID hit. Exactly February ஆரம்பிச்சோம். Marchல I think we had the lockdown. So I had this conviction over the idea. I knew that it would work because the major idea in this is in the fun city ellame paatha, that's VR games. Again, it is not too productive, or it's activity edume illa. So trampoline is fun with activity. You come over there, you sweat it out, at the same time you have a lot of fun. That's where, and there are few other concepts also I'm planning to bring in future, but I want to focus on this, wherein they come, they have fun, at the same time they sweat it out, and it's in a nice way they have fun. So this is the concept that 2020 la sonna mare start panni 2 years it was a big struggle. The malls were shut, and we weren't too sure how, what will, and Omar was, we started this thing we got into an agreement with Marina Mall in Omarla. And Omar was like a booth bungalow. The entire, all the people had moved out, so you didn't know that the work from home concept. But I had this conviction at some point things would eventually get back to normal and the business would do more. People would be stressed, they would want to get out. So that conviction was there. That's what kept us going at that.
The important thing every entrepreneur keeps reminding themselves about is the conviction of the idea. That is one thing. And the grit to hold on to that idea till execution sees its day. That's very important for an entrepreneur. And this entrepreneur believes that conviction of the idea and the grit to hold on to that idea is very, very important. And that is where I think the success of Dugout is there. And he also perceived that the stress factor will definitely be a bubble burst once everything opens up. And you would have seen that in your sales.
More than the kids, there are a lot of adults and things who are coming, which is nice to see. Lot of college, lot of working people, professionals who are over there. And they become a kid themselves. They come, they have fun.
Tell me one interesting story that you experienced in Dugout, because you would have had a lot of interesting stories. What is one thing which was very close to your heart?
One was, there was old lady at the age of 70 years. So she came and she didn't want to get out of it. For half an hour she was, because we have music as well over there. That gave me a lot of satisfaction to see even them coming and having fun. And
so this sort of business does not have an age group. So
basically you can't. And this, I didn't expect this. I was more focused, but there were a lot of elderly people also coming in, which is nice.
So Prashanth, what was this investment into Dugout?
So as I told you, 2020 we started this thing. So we were 3 partners actually. 2.5 crores we had predicted the cost.
2.5 crores
investment. And COVID hit us. All the prices had gone up drastically. For example, real estate 55,000 rupees per ton was steel rate. It went up to 95,000. So here we are caught in between what to do and purila. One வந்து இன்வெஸ்ட் பண்ணி 2 crores கிட்ட இன்வெஸ்ட் பண்ணிட்டேன் முடிச்சாச்சு.
அப்ப 2 crores லாஸா?
2 crores லாஸா இல்லாட்டி அப்படியே விடணுமா இல்லாட்டி இன்னும் பம்ப் இன் பண்ணி கண்டினியூ பண்ணணுமா? That was a very critical situation. So there was no going back. Already 2 கோடி போட்டாச்சு, என்ன பண்ண முடியும்? அது இது போட்டாச்சு, பாதி இதில் நிற்கிறோம். இப்போ இன்னும் பம்ப் இன் பண்ணாதான் முடிக்க முடியும்ன்ற ஸ்டேஜில் வந்துச்சு. So that's why we had to get in one more partner. Again, that's where relationships worked, and fortunately they trusted in us and came in. And so we stood and did finally eventually the project cost went up to 4 crores.
So what is your average footfall per month now?
Weekdays it's about 300, weekends it's 700 to 1000. So on an average it's around 500 people walk into our space every day.
So 500 into 30 days on an average is around 15,000 footfall. 15,000 பேர் ஒரு மாசத்துக்கு உங்களோட ஸ்பேஸ்க்கு வந்துறாங்க. So average-ஆ ஒரு ஆளுக்கு எவ்வளவு டிக்கெட் சைஸ் நீங்க பில் பண்ணுவீங்க?
On an average it's 500 rupees. A trampoline ticket for 1 hour is 500 rupees. So vanda matha sports irukku, cricket, football la. So you could say few people just come for the experience, the parents come and they just eat and go. So on an average it's 500 rupees ticket.
It's a very interesting business model. Average-ஆ கணக்கு போட்டா கூட 10 மாசத்துல 7.5 கோடி ரூபாய் நீங்க ரெவென்யூ பண்ணிருக்கணும்.
This is the best case scenario. So you have, this is during peak season time, during holidays and all, and you have the off season, that's rainy season as well as the school exams la. So during those times it takes a hit.
So நம்ம business 4 கோடி ரூபாய் லாஸ் அப்படினு இல்லாம 2.5 கோடி ரூபாய் நான் இன்வெஸ்ட் பண்ணிட்டேன், எனக்கு நம்பிக்கை இருக்குது.
அகைன் இங்க வந்து நான் ரிஸ்க் எடுக்கல, கம்மியான ரிஸ்க் எடுக்கலன்னு சொல்ல முடியாது. there is always a risk attached to any business, but கம்மியான ரிஸ்க் எடுக்க முடிஞ்ச விஷயம் இதில் தான் சொல்றது. ஏன்னா in this, unlike a food business, this once you invest, business போனால் தான் நீங்கள் ரெவென்யூ ஷேர் பண்ணுறீங்க. And apart from that you don't have everyday purchase or anything as such. It's like a one time investment. So
that's very interesting, because
During COVID time also, there was the second lockdown. அப்போ என்னன்னா, we had our grand mall thing ongoing at that time. The mall, fortunately, they didn't charge rent. That was as a rule in most of the malls. But it wouldn't have been the case if it was outside the private space. You would have had to pay rent. So all these, so basically during COVID, I didn't have it. The only expense was the salaries because I need to take care of them. Apart from that, your losses are minimalized.
அதான் சொல்கிறேன், the understanding that we have for business owner and the confidence we have, அந்த கான்ஃபிடன்ஸ் டீமில் கீழே வரைக்கும் போனால் தான் அது பிஸ்னஸாக கன்வெர்ட் ஆகும். பிரசாந்த், since you have set up Dugout, is basically the entire setup was from China and COVID was there. And the entire world was in the interface that COVID happened only because of China.
Yeah.
And business மட்டும் இல்லை, எதுவுமே சைனாவோட இருக்கக்கூடாதுன்னு நினச்ச காலகட்டம் அது. ஸோ ஆண்டர்பிரினராக நீங்கள் என்ன ஃபீல் பண்ணீங்க அப்போ?
So அதான், among the obstacles, that was one major thing. ஏன்னா trampoline, even the turf and all was imported from China. Not the entire thing. The shed was assembled locally, but the மற்ற ஐட்டம்லாம் almost 1.5 crores worth value shipment was coming from China. கரெக்டாக அங்கே இது பண்ணோடனே தான் கோவிட் ஹிட் அண்ட் ஆர்டர் பிளேஸ் பண்ணியாச்சு. நாங்கள் ஆர்டர் பிளேஸ் பண்ணிவிட்டு வரோமா வராதான்னு தெரியல, ஏன்னா the factories were shut over there. அதுக்கப்புறம் இங்கே வந்து there were lot of clauses with சைனாலேருந்து வர முடியுமா, அந்த கண்டெய்னர் வந்து இறங்குமா நானே தெரியல, and lot of shipments were held over there. So we were in the queue. அதே ஒரு ஆர்டர் பிளேஸ் பண்ணி 3-4 மாதம் அப்புறம், ஏன்னா யூ கான்ட் கோ பை, தே வுடன்ட் ரீஃபண்ட், ஆல்ரெடி தி ஐட்டம்ஸ் ஆர் ரெடி. ஒன்றா அப்படியே விட்டுடணும், இல்லாட்டி இறங்கி
விட்டுணும்னா எப்படி
டோட்டலாக தேர் வாஸ் நோ அதர் கோ. தட் வாஸ் தி ஃபியர் அட் தட் டைம். வரோமா வராதானே தெரியல. Then eventually the problems were kind of getting settled. That's when it came
you
shipment.
spoke to the customs and took everything out of.
Yeah, customs, it was 3 months kitta, number 2 months kitta, number shipment almost it was in the port. There were a lot of pending shipments which were supposed to be cleared, and even the custom duty also went up. And so என்னெல்லாம் பாசிபிள் பிரச்சனையோ எல்லா பிரச்சனையும் அந்த டைம் ஃபேஸ் பண்ணி,
அந்த கோவிட் டைம்ல ஃபேஸ் பண்ணியாச்சு சைனான்றதுனால.
ஆமா.
பட் things are supposed to happen, business is supposed to happen.
Yeah.
So you were able to,
and they were saying they might stop imports from China as well. அது பண்ணியிருந்தானா again there is nowhere to go.
What is that you want to give away or advice ன்னு சொல்லலாம், இல்ல fellow entrepreneursக்கு one thought you want to give it to them saying that why business and branding is important?
Entrepreneurs, so not like I have reached a big success now, there's a long way to go still. But one thing I would say is people always say you have to be optimistic in business, but in a way it's nice to be pessimistic also. So whenever I start a business, I see what if it goes wrong, will you be able to survive that, either in the loss idu panna mudiyuma. So once I am confident enough, even if it doesn't work, you will be able to survive. That's where I get into a business. So that's one thing. Weigh in your negatives also, and that's an important thing. Think about the negatives. Ella nallada pona, you'll always there's no looking back. So either way in panna munjana, that's you can step into it.
It's not always rosy. We should also look at the negative side.
One more thing that my dad and uncle, again I go back to that, they have told me is only if you fail, it's great, congrats anuvanga. Yana nothing teaches you as much as a failure. So you learn out of it. Ellame first la idu pannita, when you take a big hit, difficult to revive from that.
And we have already failed when we are less than 40 years. So
yeah, so you learn more with that. The thing is, in the delegation of work, that's also very important part. Now I have a good team working over there. So it gives me time to focus on what next to develop and get in the systems. So that's a very important thing.
So moving forward, Prashanth, what do you think would be your vision for Dugout as such, or your business ideas as such?
So Dugout, as of now, we are in talks with certain people. I don't want to give, but we are in talks and we want to expand further. In Chennai, we are planning to come up with another space which would be even bigger than what we are doing. And as I told you, I want to focus on, so if it's going to be it's going to be entertainment based, but at the same time it's not going to be like VR or arcade games or something that engages, and it's a physical activity as well and fun oriented.
Your thought to engage and implement these things at this scale will definitely have a resistance, because real estate is scarce today, and it's a costliest commodity of all the business aspects.
Okay.
So how do you see real estate to play this important role in your business?
So that's where again this mall, Marina Mall, we had taken in the rooftop of which basically the terrace, which is again unutilized. We built a temporary shed over there and we got it started. So the thing with this is we work on a revenue sharing basis. So as long as I earn, I don't mind giving it to the mall. Exactly. So we were very insistent on not having the minimum guarantee or anything. And the end of the day, now as of now, I tend to pay them more than the rent discussed. But it's fine as long as
they are happy and you are happy.
Yeah, that's the thing. But that's where our risk also is limited. So even in future, wherever I'm looking out, I'm focusing more so on the unutilized spaces.
On one side, there is a lot of, even when in real estate industry, OMR continuously says that there is an availability on one side, whereas non-utilized space on one side, and there is demand on other side for vacant property.
Yeah.
So more things to actually happen is how people innovatively use their ideas.
Yeah, true.
முடிஞ்ச வரைக்கும் புது கான்செப்ட் நியூவர் பிசினஸ் மாடல்ஸ் வச்சு அந்த ஸ்பேஸ். That's how I think even the food courts have been opening up to open up.
True.
Things, right?
And even we need to be innovative with our thing, because it's been 1 year. Again, we are changing few of the games. You can't get boring. So you need to keep changing, and you shouldn't hesitate to reinvest whatever you. And so that's one more thing.
We had a very interesting conversation today, and ஒரு brand building business பேஷனாக இருக்கிற ஃபுட்டு ஒரு பக்கம், அடுத்து என்ன பண்ணணும், இன்னோவேட்டிவாக பண்ணணும்னு ஸ்போர்ட்ஸ் டெர்மினல்ஸ் ஒரு பக்கம். மெயின் திங் அபவுட் பிரசாந்த் ஆஸ் அன் ஆண்டர்பிரினர் இஸ் தட் how opportunities can be found from difficulties that is we face. And that grit for an entrepreneur to delegate, to understand the business model, and wishing him a lot of success in every other opportunity that he has in his life, because every opportunity that he had, he has always given me an opportunity to be a part of it. I was part of some, I was not part of some, but it has been a beautiful journey so far, and there is a long way to go.
Yeah, long way to go.
Long way to go. Thank you so much, Prashanth, for being part of UrbanTalks.
Thanks, Mail. Thanks for calling me. It gives great pleasure, but having shared, we studied in Singapore together, so it's nice to have this kind of interaction with you.
Thanks, Prashanth. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thanks.